Hello, everyone. This is Cody Lee of BlackCatBooks.org, author of Eye of the Dragon, Cruel and Beautiful Rabbit Hole King, DL Lord Frey, Grim Clover, Internet Blood Sports, and the upcoming Jaw of the Dragon. I, over the past week, have read a lot of One Piece, and I haven't been recording videos. And as a result of that, I've read like 10 of them, 10 volumes of this shit. I legit sat down for like a couple of hours and just tore through them all, and it was great. It was a lot of fun, but yeah, I feel kind of burnt out on it at the moment. And I didn't really give any video updates, like talking about my thoughts on it or anything like that. And that's I don't know. That was something I was toying with for a while now. Was like whether I should like hold off, like how I should like adjust these things, because like it felt like talking about One Piece like every volume was kind of a waste of time. You know what I mean? Like I would rather just read the volumes and then just kind of give my thoughts afterward. And so like 10 volumes was quite a significant amount of time for One Piece. Like this was like from volume 9 to 19 to 20. So like I think we went from like Rogue Town to all the way to no Arlong Park. When the fight with Arlong just started, like all the way to fucking Alabasta. So yeah, a significant chunk of time, like lots of new characters introduced, lots of cool fights, lots of cool imagery, new animals, like new locations, lots of foreshadowing for future events, a lot more I think than people give credit for because I actually I've seen like spoilers online about like the ending to Wano, like a little bit of that, and people were bitching about like, oh man, is the Luffy's destiny or something like that, and I'm just like they've been foreshadowing that forever. All right, like that was even in the four kids dub when they're talking about like oh the will of D and like it's his destiny to be on the pirate. Like there are people who have been foreshadowing that aspect of it. So again, I'm beginning to feel more and more like I can't take discussion of manga content on the internet seriously because I have the impression by seeing like all this reaction content, all this reactionary shit, all these critiques of like perfectly good series and ideas like the reaction to the ending of Attack on Titan is a good example, or rather more specifically like the treatment of the entire post time skip thing was kind of disgusting in my opinion. So many people completely missing the point. So many low IQ takes. So many people getting angry over nothing, bitching about their ridiculous fan theories not being true. Like I am at this point kind of like moving away from that. Like I'm at the point now where I feel very comfortable like talking about what I like and don't like in a series and stuff like that. So like I'm comfortable telling like JoJo fans to fuck off or like um, calling Berserk overrated or like saying One Piece is a good series. Like I feel comfortable in saying that at this point. I'm well versed enough in manga to like kind of make these declarations. And I've heard a lot of people, right, like try to dismiss One Piece as just like mainstream shit and something that's not like legitimately great in its own right. But I really don't think that's true. Like when I compare this to like stuff that I grew up with, stuff like Naruto, for example, something that I discovered around the same time. And although I was like always a fan of both, Naruto kind of faded away into obscurity in my mind. One of the very few things I grew up with that I don't really like now. I always tell people, well, One Piece, if anything, has gotten better, right? And now I'm nearing the point where I'm finally gonna get past Skypiea and finally get to experience like the shit that I've been missing out all this time because like I've told this story before how I was watching the anime and then it like they stopped that translation, the four kids dub, and then like they kept re-airing the same Alabasta episodes over and over again, and I couldn't keep up. You know, I had no ability to like pick up the manga or like watch it any other way. So like there was a big gap in between like my viewing experience and what hardcore fans have been getting up to. So I've had no idea what's been happening in legit probably the past almost 20 years. So it'll be nice to finally get up to speed on that. But yeah, like the thing. this is probably like the second or third time in the past like 5 years that I've read through the story up to this point. Like again, I keep like starting over. I don't know what it is, but like this time I think I am going to get past it. I am going to get past this wall and plow on ahead. And I am thrilled to do so because like reading so much One Piece in such a short period of time, like getting to Arlong Park, going to Rogue Town, going to all this like all these locations, getting to the Grand Line, Drum Kingdom, Little Garden, like Alabasta. You really get a sense of like scope and variety when it comes to One Piece aesthetics because there is an overarching plot, right? Like finding the One Piece, like discovering, the secrets about the world and stuff like that. These overarching characters that are traveling the seas and like have formed all these unlikely alliances and stuff like that. But there's also like these minor instances. And I think when I was watching the anime in particular, I kind of had a problem with the minor stories because it felt like a lot of it was getting in the way, that like a lot of it was irrelevant, that it didn't really mean anything. And I think that was because like I was watching filler and just like kind of feeling like it wasn't really meant to be part of the series to begin with. So I feel like you kind of have to read the manga when it comes to One Piece because it's so fucking long, and the pacing is just so much better when you're like reading the manga from volume to volume. You get to these new locations, you get to see them, you get to appreciate like the creativity of the world. Like they take the time to kind of flesh it out. Like you get an idea of how these people live, like the climate of the Grand Line, like how things work in this world. The variety of islands you'll come across, um, the seasons. Like they spend some time like going over how like seasons in the Grand Line work because like there are islands that are predisposed to a specific climate that are like perpetually on a certain season, but then they'll like have their own seasons within that season. So you'll have like winter islands that like have a spring kind of. So it's that doesn't seem to come up in the story at all. But they took the time to flesh it out and kind of establish it, and I'm sure eventually it'll pay off. It'll become relevant, but we'll have to see. It hasn't happened yet. Like I've already noticed that they actually foreshadowed Jinbei, the leader of Fishman Island, like way back before they met Arlong, and I'm aware that they do meet him eventually. I believe like post time skip. I don't even know why they do a time skip actually. Like I have an idea of like some things that happen in One Piece, some like plot elements and stuff like that. Like I know Ace dies. I know things like that. Like um, but like for the best for a lot of it, I'm still in the dark because I think like One Piece is so vast, it is kind of impossible to spoil this shit. Like I could tell you that like, oh man, Crocodile is evil, and you're just like, who the fuck is Crocodile? Why should I care? But then you kind of like you get to Baroque works, right? You're introduced to his organization. You're introduced to like what he's trying to accomplish. And like while you're in this middle of this arc, like the story is setting up like the overall long-term arc, like foreshadowing like Blackbeard and his band of pirates and stuff like that. Um, it's uh, it's incredible. I think I really don't think I've ever seen anything like it in that regard. Like I was thinking about like reading this. I was thinking about this today. Beastars. I big fan of the first three volumes, right? Like I loved them. I thought they were great. I was ranting about it on this channel actually. I thought it was on track to be one of my favorite things ever, right? And then like it slowly declined to the point where like I can't even take it seriously anymore. To the point where I didn't even finish it. Like 15 volumes in, right? Like the series didn't even come close to matching what One Piece has accomplished, right? With its like consistent world building, its character development, and its world, and that's kind of what I take away from like reading these last 10 volumes, 9 through 19 is just seeing all this crazy shit, stuff that like we still don't have an explanation for, stuff like who is Dragon, stuff like like when are they gonna get to One Piece? Like there are so many questions about like that will someday have some kind of answer. You know what I mean? Like, and that makes it so compelling to read because they keep introducing new ideas, new concepts, new characters, but like they're so well integrated into like the overarching plot. It seems so natural and so real. Like even with like the cartoony visuals and action, like it's just incredibly compelling and so creative. That's another thing I noticed watching this Wapul fight. I will be the first to say I will be the first to say that I don't like the Drum Kingdom arc. I think it's boring. I think it's stupid. It's thankfully short and we don't get a lot of it. Um, but it's Wapol's ability to just eat anything. It's so like it's so ridiculous, but the character just kind of sells it in his own way. And it's like it's so out there you can't help but be like fascinated by it, like you find it so compelling. There are so many instances like that, like the guy who like throws boogers at people and they just explode, right? Like Miss Valentine, like the ability to adjust her weight, like you know even like the main characters like Zoro using three swords, like it's Chopper, the fucking reindeer man. Like there's so it's so out there, it's so ridiculous, and yet it's so organic. You end up believing it, and I think that's like such a great thing for a story to accomplish, right? It's so ridiculous, it's so cartoonish, but at the same time, you end up believing it's real, want to believe it's real, and that I think makes it very very special. So like right now, where I am when I left my Kindle to charge, like I'm on something like volume 19, something like that. We're in Alabasta at this point. We're going through the motions of like beating Crocodile and stuff like that. Um, I I I'm not sure how this is gonna last. Honestly, like Drum Kingdom lasted a lot, wasn't quite as long as I thought it would be. So Little Garden didn't last long either. I remember like taking excruciatingly long when I was watching the anime. So I think the anime really does fuck with your perception of time when it comes to this, because you can probably get through like an entire volume in like 20 minutes, something like that. I haven't timed myself yet, but it's around that point. So I'm gonna have to like um, get right back to it like later tonight. Get right this week and see where I leave off next time. So I don't know. I would like to get through Skypiea in the next week or so. I would really like to see what comes next because I actually have no idea what like the sequence of events after this. So this is going to be new ground, I think. After Alabasta, I'll finally get to finish Skypiea. I'll finally get through this fucking arc, and then I'll finally get to appreciate the rest of One Piece.